Hello, my name is Stephen Walsh. I'm delighted to be a speaker here at the Hong Kong Talent Engage. I'm representing the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants Hong Kong. Today we're going to focus on what's changing in the finance industry, what's changing in the accounting industry, and what's the pathways to the future, and what should potential employees in the accounting or finance industry focus on. I'll talk a little bit about me to set a context. I started as a trainee 40 years ago in Dublin with Lever Brothers as a trainee cost accountant. Then I became a financial accountant, moved to London, became a management accountant with a tech company, and I became their CFO for Australia and then for Japan. I took a break and did a Master's of Information Systems, and after that I joined a bank in Sydney. Actually in their IT division. Then I joined IBM and I moved back into a finance role as the CFO in their consulting division. And then after a couple of years, I moved into sales, which I spent 15 years in sales in Australia and up here in Hong Kong, including all over Asia. I've really enjoyed my roles in finance, IT, in merger and acquisitions, sales, and the other commercial director roles I've had. I think kind of demonstrates the cross-functional type career predicted by the CGMA Rise Report 2040. I think your career will also be not linear. I think your career will be many things. Sometimes we have to take a risk, and a risk to try something new, try something brave. That could be, for example, moving from treasury to tax, or it could be moving into sales or supply chain or something outside your comfort zone. When I look back at my career, I really learned and grew by taking on challenges that weren't expected quite often, but it helped build my portfolio of skills. We're actually very lucky though in Hong Kong, because Hong Kong gives you the opportunity. Hong Kong has well structured, most of the large accounting firms and accounting professions are here. Hong Kong's training with banks or conglomerates is very well organized. So Hong Kong has really strong reputation in accounting and finance for global talent. And I think you will be a part of that global talent and Hong Kong talent. Okay? And Hong Kong is not just a place to work. It's really your potential talent development engine. You have the opportunity as perhaps younger people or perhaps more mature people looking for a career change. The opportunity is in Hong Kong. And many other places in the world don't offer the same opportunities as Hong Kong. That said, finance world is changing. The accounting profession is changing. CGMA's central message from their Rise report said that the profession is shifting from scorekeeping to value creation. The emphasis is on strategic thinking. The emphasis on analysis. The emphasis is always going to be on human judgment, ethics, and trust. And they're going to be the differentiators. But what's also changing is, of course, AI. AI is reshaping business world and especially the finance function. That said, I believe technology is a tool to be embraced. It's not a tool to do away with your job. It's a tool that will help you do a better job. I would like to take you through a journey in 3 parts. How roles are evolving and changing, what skills will matter, some practical steps on those, and how you can turn your skills into career pathways and how you can follow career pathways here in Hong Kong. This session will focus on future skills, what's emerging career opportunities with a Hong Kong bent, and how talent can be built by you, because you are the talent here in Hong Kong. So let me now turn to what's changing in the finance roles themselves. We mentioned that the roles are evolving from reporting to strategic finance. So in this section, I'll make about 3 points. What's changing, how your role is expanding, And no matter what, why trust always should remain the foundation of everything you do. Entry-level jobs are changing. We're no longer doing data collection. What's happening now with AI, we as finance professionals were asked to review the output of AI. We're asked to do that much earlier in the process steps. We're asked to look at exceptions and exception handling. The shift from day-to-day accounting and controllership has already happened. We already have ERP automation. We use Excel in the most advanced way possible. We are starting to use Copilot, perhaps WeChat, other tools, yes, including WeChat, to do our jobs. We're perhaps using DeepSeek to do our jobs. We're beginning to learn about agentic AI and how we can apply them to processes. AICPA says accounting professionals will need to combine deep expertise with broad capabilities, in analytics, in digital fluency, in strategic thinking. If we listen to Mark Kozel, who's the AICPA and CGMA CEO, he says that professionals are moving beyond strategic advisors, moving beyond compliance to be strategic advisors, to be data translators, and to be trust architects. I think it's a very powerful statement. So the ability and capabilities in digital finance transformation, data analytics, and finance systems infrastructure will all be key. But what's not changing? What's core values to you as a finance professional? Trust, integrity, the basic understanding of accounting and finance principles, they're still required. The ability to analyze and present is absolutely still required. And of course, Excel skills are never going away. The reality is AI is here. It's a buzzword, but it's real. Understanding processes and understanding data is key ingredients to success for AI and to success for your career. If you don't understand a process, if you don't understand data flows, you're not going to be able to write useful prompts for agentic AI. If I look at where I work in KPMG, we did a report back last year in 2025, which said only 4% of AI projects are actually successful. But why is that? That's because change management didn't happen. That's because the processes were not re-engineered. That's because we're mainly technology-led. Hopefully today, if we take the survey again, I would suggest maybe 50% would be successful. So I was asked many times, should I learn Copilot as a young professional? Probably not. Go and learn processes first, go and learn data flows and governance first, understand that. Roles are changing, but what skills will be valuable to you? That's really the question. Yes, learn Pilot after you've learned the process flows, etc. So what skills are actually changing? I think in Hong Kong, you need to be, as a finance professional, there are a number of things that are changing. I've listed 5 that I will go through. And keep in mind, 50% of jobs in Hong Kong are in regulated industries, in finance, insurance, working for HKMA, working for SFC. So they're also very, very important. So if I was a young or not so young professional in Hong Kong in the accounting and finance industry, I would focus on digital first finance. Can I learn about automation, AI, data platforms? Can I learn about how to elevate my role so I'm providing insight? Can I use the tools to help me provide insight? I would probably go and take some courses, do qualifications, study on LinkedIn, use YouTube, but go and practice scenario modeling, go and practice predictive analysis. I think that would help your career. I think another pathway is learn about Python, yes. Learn about Power BI, RPAs. But most important, learn how to write prompts and how to reuse prompts, because that's the future. Go and team with your IT colleagues and volunteer for tasks that need to be automated, for processes that need to be improved. I think if you work in financial services, I would focus on, what do I know about digital assets and digital currency as well, because I don't think you can avoid them. No matter where you work, understanding risk management, regulations, trust and governance is also fundamental to your job as a management accountant or an accountant. So do you understand credit risk, for example? Do you understand the AML, anti-money laundering requirements of your organization? Do you understand cyber and cyber risk? Again, you're not meant to be the expert, but as a management accountant and a CFO, you should have some understanding. There's a lot of courses out there, HKMA, the Stock Exchange, Hong Kong X, etc. They all provide courses. Of course, it's not only management accountants. We have auditors, probably in the audience. I work for Big Four as well. So CPAs carry a legal authority that no AI can replace. CPAs need to make a judgment on the soundness of reports, on the soundness of a company. That's not going to go away. But CPAs are using tools to run the analysis, tools to do what-ifs, tools to help manage audit professionals. I think finance professionals will become strategic partners. They'll shape decisions, not just to the reporting. We say the center of gravity will move to advisory. That means commercial knowledge, commercial acumen, pricing, negotiating, contracts. I do that every day in KPMG in my job in managed services. The careers will blend finance and technology and business operations. I did that during my career in IBM and in KPMG. Your career will be cross-functional. So if you're a new person, if you're a young person, if you're looking for a new job, think about how can I move into areas I haven't worked before. Don't just think about verticals. Think about cross-functional moves that could help you. Again, understanding the sustainability and society impacts of your organization will be key. Not just ESG and climate reporting, but responsible governance. We expect controllers and CFOs and finance directors to be a key part of governance. Perhaps sitting on the board and advising the board and senior leadership on governance issues. Perhaps, also with your colleagues from the company secretary and other roles. It's really about understanding the disclosures, understanding what's the base expectation and what makes a difference. If I just kind of change tack a little bit, in Hong Kong for financial professions, CPAs, management accountants, controllers, I think connecting into the mainland is also key for your career. The HKICPA say finance professionals will be super connectors. I think super translators in terms of business style, but also to help all the organizations and companies that are listing in Hong Kong, but have large mainland operations that are going to go globally. I think that's really important. The ability to influence your stakeholders as well is key. If I could just spend a moment and talk about an observation that I would make. My observation in Hong Kong and elsewhere is that many young professionals struggle to summarize, struggle to make recommendations. They often represent facts as data sheets rather than analyzing the facts and presenting them. So I would strongly encourage professionals in Hong Kong to practice. One thing I did, and you may laugh, I did some acting courses. I actually did a one-night course at the comedy club to help me gain confidence to stand up in front of people. You got to make people laugh every six seconds. I also volunteered for different committees where I got a chance to do speaking a bit like this. I'm not perfect by any means. In the office, in work, I often act as a coach for orals presentations. That's presentations we give to our clients when we're doing a bid. So I think soft skills such as communication is as important as learning about AI and learning about data analytics and learning the basics of management accounting and CPA work. Okay. There's another thing I would say, and maybe it's a slight repetition, avoid career stagnation. So you're at a career fair, it's an online career fair. I always ask 3 questions if I'm looking for a new job, and I'm not. It's been 7 years since I looked for a new job. I would say, does it advance my knowledge and learning and challenge me? Question 1. Question 2, does it pay me more money or reward me in a better way? Oh, it's not always money, but quite often it is in Hong Kong. Does it help my lifestyle? And we quite often don't ask that question in Hong Kong. Does it help my lifestyle? It may increase travel, it may reduce travel, as an example, depending on your personal goals. So I would look for jobs with a little bit of risk-taking. And risk-taking is not reckless. Risk-taking is how you build a non-linear career, how you build a cross-functional career. So I would challenge all people listening to this to don't just look for the same role, look for something that will challenge you and give you cross-functional skills. You know, in my career, I've done M&A work, I've done sales work, I've done business operations, I've been a CFO, I've been a management accountant, I've done treasury, I've done tax. Yes, it's been 40 years of a career, but I purposely look for those. One thing I will say, and keep in mind, that finance people are great salespeople. Why? Because we know how to articulate value, we know how to quantify value. And in 90% of cases, if somebody is buying in sales, they want to understand the value they're going to get, and they want to quantify or see a quantification of the value they're going to get. So I think even in a sales role, the finance profession is a great career. One role that I do, I'm an assessor for CGMA members who wish to become fellows. I review all the applications for the mainland. And it's really interesting to see the careers in the mainland, how they progress. And many of our colleagues in CGMA, many of the CFOs and controllers are CEOs. They run small businesses or large businesses. They started off in finance but moved into IPOs. They moved into treasury. They moved in internal control or audit. Many also got involved in research and development and supply chain. So it's really exciting and interesting to see these individuals now, you know, probably in their early middle ages, applying for fellowship of CGMA because they've now reached CFO type roles. Okay. Another thing I'll kind of touch upon is interviews, because it's also a career fair, as I mentioned a couple of times. Your resume is all about you, your skills, your qualification, and what you've done. Please assume your interviewer has read your resume. Many candidates don't assume that. And honestly, if the interviewer has not read your resume, wonder why you're at the interview. I personally have walked out of interviews when the interviewer told me they haven't read it. Anyway, that's just me, and I'm experienced. But I would suggest that please prepare for the interview by talking about what will you do for the organization you're thinking of joining. How will you add value to them? How will you help your boss? Not spend the whole interview repeating your resume. Perhaps summarize it, but please don't spend the 20 minutes repeating your resume. Spend it thinking critically how you will help your boss, how you will help their organization, and explain that to them. Because that's what, you know, hiring managers are looking for. How you will make a difference, because we can read the resume. Okay. One thing also I would suggest for people in Hong Kong, you have a great opportunity, and sometimes you don't know it. Hong Kong professionals have a great global talent. They're trilingual, most are. They've got exposure to regulated industries, large MNCs, large conglomerates, and of course mainland companies operating in Hong Kong. He got exposure to like Singapore, many professions have as well, and many back to the US and UK. So I would suggest to really leverage the great skills you have. If I was to kind of summarize, what would I go and do if I was looking for a job and early in my career? Focus on data literacy, on AI. Go and learn. Go and use technology to provide insights. Learn about the regulatory requirements, the key takeaway for me. Learn about compliance and risk and financial reporting. Go and learn, about AML and cyber. Use the online free available courses. Go and focus on building skills in ESG. Focus on your advisory and providing insights. Look for cross-functional and out-of-the-box career opportunities. Number 5, I was kind of counting here, master communication. Go and practice your communication skills because that's the most important thing in your career. Kind of my final message is the future will belong to adaptable professionals like yourself, those who are commercially minded, those that become fluent in the digital world, those that actually see themselves as a talent and are proud to say they are a talent and act accordingly. So I would say thank you for listening. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you, and I will participate in the online Q&As and look forward to hearing your questions live. Thank you very much.